we live in such a different world now with diversity and everything, and women have so many more opportunities. But at the very top, there are still only 24 women CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. In the boardroom and the C-suite, it's 16% or so, depending on who you look at. And so why is that the case? Why aren't there more women in the upper echelons? And what do you think we need to do to change it?
Right. Well, first of all, I'd say it's almost like I can look at it through two lenses because, look at your list. Look at the women we're talking about. There's an incredible number of women running very powerful companies or powerful divisions of huge companies, right? So in many ways, I feel like there's a lot of progress, but certainly it is kind of slow, I guess we could say. If I think back to when I started my career in 1984, I would not think we'd still be having this conversation in 2016.
Right.
So you could look at it through a couple different lenses. And, to me, it's all about the pipeline. I mean, I know that we've probably talked about that, but it's really how do we make sure as senior women leaders that we're making sure that our organizations at a minimum have diversity and that we're insisting on a diverse slate for every single job we're filling. I'm proud about the fact that our board is 50% women. My leadership team is about 50% women, which is great. And that doesn't happen on accident. You really have to work on it.
And it doesn't happen everywhere. I mean, Jen, those numbers are rare in the business world of the Ulta board makeup and executive team makeup. What do you think needs to happen? Do you think that, when Mary says in 1984 she didn't think we'd be having this conversation, do you think that 20 years from now we might still be having this conversation?
I think that we may still be having this conversation if we don't make some serious changes. Because just to give you a couple of numbers, 4.8% of the Fortune 500 is made up of women. That's the same as last year. That's up from like 1% about a decade ago. Okay, it's glacial progress. There are about 21% of women, 21% of companies have one woman on the board. And I'm sorry, I said that wrong too. There are 21% of board members are made up by women. But women who are running the committees and the board are still very, very small. Those are growing as well. And women in the C-suite, we find tons of them for our list. But often they don't make it to the CEO spot, and then they don't also appear at another large company.